Welcome to the Transparent FX Academy. I'm Nick and I'm a top author on TradingView with over 190k reputation points.
In this video, I will be speaking about USDCAD. Now, as usual, to keep the video as educational as possible, first I will be covering the technical aspect for this market. Then we will be moving to the order flow by looking at the commitment of traders, so the COD data, so essentially what hedge funds and the big players in the market are doing and how they're shifting their orders. And by the end of the video, by using a combination of these two different types of analysis, we will try to understand where we have the highest probabilities for the next potential move here for this pair. So this is definitely a video you do not want to miss.
If you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe. This is the place to be for high quality, free trading education. Now, without further ado, let's jump straight onto the charts.
Starting here from the monthly time frame, what we can see is that at the moment we have a market which is clearly moving in a range. We have the bottom of the range here, which is currently acting as support, and we have the top of the range here, which is currently acting as resistance. Now, until the market will remain in between these two levels, what we could continue to see here is more ranging from a monthly standpoint. The market, every time it seems like it's going and testing first the high and then the low of the range. The last test was right here of the top of the range. So the next logical step would be for the market to go and test the low of the range to see what kind of liquidity there is at this area. We can also notice, if we look closer, that this area is an intermediate level of structure where we have previous monthly support from which this move to the upside was created, which is now turned resistance, which the market is currently testing. So from a monthly standpoint as well, there is definitely the possibility of seeing some bearish price action being created away from this zone. So let's keep all of this in mind and drop down on the weekly time frame. Now, from a weekly perspective, what we can notice, first of all, is that we had a massive impulse to the downside. Now, after the creation of this impulse to the downside, the market has started moving horizontally, essentially creating again a range here from a weekly standpoint. We can also notice that as we have an impulse and a correction, if we want to measure this correction, we have to take our Fibonacci from the high to the low of the impulse leg, which shows us how we have the 0.32 and 50% retracements lining up inside of this area, creating confluence of support inside of this zone. Because if we have multiple layers of resistance lining up in the same area of price, which is what we have here, we have an increased probability of seeing institutional shorting inside of this zone, which at that point further increase the probability of a potential rejection to the downside away from this area by seeing this additional shorting pressure from an institutional perspective. And this is something that we will be speaking about in just a few minutes when we move to analysis of the commitment of traders. For now, let's keep all of this in mind and drop down on the daily time frame. Now, from a daily perspective, what we can notice is that we are really testing a very strong supply zone here on the daily time frame. In fact, from here, we can notice that this massive rejection candle to the downside was created. All this area is the wick of this candle, which increases the probabilities of seeing a potential rejection to the downside away from this area and increases the probabilities of seeing more institutional shorting of USDCAD inside of this zone. Speaking about institutional shorting, let's go and see what we have when it comes to the commitment of traders. So what the big players in the market are doing precisely on the CAD. Now, what we can see here is that with the last reports, institutions have been increasing their net positions. In fact, we went from having minus 196k net positions all the way up to having now minus 70k net positions, showing how institutions have been moving back to the bullish side for the CAD. Now, if institutions move back to the bullish side for the CAD, it means that essentially they are longing CAD USD, which means they are shorting USD CAD because all currencies on the spot are traded against the USD. And anyway, from a logical perspective, obviously, if the CAD is getting stronger, USD CAD is getting weaker. So this increases the probabilities that USD CAD could see that push to the downside because institutions are currently longing the CAD, so shorting USDCAD. So let's keep all of this in mind and move back to the chart. So this area that is a strong supply zone could see an increased selling pressure from an institutional perspective, which could further increase the probabilities of a potential rejection to the downside away from this area. So in a situation like this, what would I expect? Well, as usual, trading is reactive and not predictive. The monthly, weekly, and daily timeframes combined with the COT data, those are the best timeframes when it comes to the directional aspect of the market. However, when it comes to identifying early shifts in the trend of a market, the best timeframes for that are the intraday timeframes, so 4 hour and lower. Therefore, what I would expect is that if this market would shift from an intraday bullish to a bearish market, at that point, I wouldn't be surprised to see a potential rejection to the downside away from this area. That definitely wouldn't surprise me.
Now, if you want to learn more, I really suggest that you go and check out the transparentfxtrading.com website, which you find linked in description. Here, you have the possibility to gain access to the most complete mentorship program ever that I have created. You have the possibility to gain access to all the courses, the trading station software with the Telegram signals integration, one-on-one private mentoring directly with me, the COT data software that you see me use in all these videos. And if you continue to scroll down the website, past the testimonials, you will see that you have the possibility to join and gain automatically access with the email and password that you will create during the sign-up process. So I really suggest that you go and check it out. The link is in description and I will see you in it. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to drop a like and also let me know in the comments below for any new pairs or topics that you would like me to cover in my next videos. And I will see you in my next breakdown.